Hey everybody, welcome to my what I watched in November 2021 list. Yes, I a couple weeks ago I did my what I watched in October list, and I know no one watched it really, but fuck it, I decided to do this anyways. Do another what I watched, and this is November. And if you're watching this and you haven't seen the what I watched in October list, go check that video out. But yeah, this is what I watched in November. This time in the October one, I didn't watch a whole lot of movies. It was only like about eight, I think. But this time I have seen 17 films, and I'll be talking about these 17 films for this video. I'm going to try not to talk too much about them, but you know, I don't know. This video will probably be over 20 minutes long at least, but maybe 30. We'll see. But anyways, yeah. All right. So what I watched in November 2021. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So starting with the first day, which was actually not November 1st. It was actually November 4th. I rewatched for November 4th. I rewatched The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I don't know if you could see that real well, but yeah. Yeah, I I had to say I love this movie. I really do. And in fact, to be completely honest, I think this is my favorite David Fincher film. Yes, I know. I'm not a big David Fincher fan, but I like that movie a lot. I think it's very well made. I love the cinematography, and I don't even think it's that boring. I think a lot of people say it's too long and boring. I I don't actually. I don't think that movie is too long and boring. It is slow, but honestly, I don't know. It moves kind of quick for me. I didn't think it was that long. It felt very well paced, in my opinion. But yeah, I really enjoy Benjamin Button, and I love the performances by Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett. Both really good in this movie. In fact, I think this is probably my favorite Brad Pitt performance, if I'm going to be honest. And I know it's my favorite Kate Blanchett performance, at least at the moment. But that's only because I haven't seen very much Kate Blanchett films. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is my favorite Brad Pitt performance. Even better in Fight Club, yeah, and I even like this movie better in Fight Club. And don't get me wrong, I like Fight Club too, which of course, same director David Fincher. But yeah, I really enjoyed Curious Case of Benjamin Button. That was like my second or third time watching it. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but something like that. And I give Curious Case of Benjamin Button 4.5 stars. So yeah. All right. All right. November 5th, I watched two movies. Some of these days I watched two movies. November 5th, I had a double feature with two movies that are related to each other. But first, let me talk about the first one. I watched The Disaster Artist. I rewatched The Disaster Artist, I should say, because I did. If you know my channel, you might know that I reviewed The Disaster Artist. I think I want to say about almost a year ago. Actually, it's crazy. I've been on this channel for a year now. It's pretty crazy, but yeah. But it was like one of the. I think it was actually the first movie I reviewed whenever I moved into this house. I believe it was, and yeah, rewatching it. No, my opinions haven't really changed. It's still kind of the same. I think it's a very good film. I still kind of think it could have been done a little bit better, but other than that, I still like it. And James Franco's performance as Tommy Wiseau is amazing. So yeah, Disaster Artist, I give that 3.5 stars. And the second movie I watched followed that up with none other than the movie it's based on, The Room. Yes, The Room. And yes, I do own The Room on DVD. I mean, if you're new to the channel, I'll tell you, I love The Room. I am one of those people that love The Room, and will even put it on their top favorite movies list. I do. I love this movie so much. And I think that this is honestly a masterpiece. In a different way, of course. But, like, if you see my review of this on Letterboxd, I said this movie is proof that even bad movies can be masterpieces. Yeah, and that's what I do. I think The Room is a masterpiece for the wrong reasons, but still, it's still an amazing film, and it's one of the films that changed my life. I just fucking adore this film, and I love Tommy Wiseau in this, along with Greg Sestero and everyone else in this movie. I just love it so much, and I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I love it that much. It's a 5-star movie to me. Yes. I'm not joking. So yeah, The Room, 5 stars. Love it. All right. November 7th, I rewatched a movie that I thought I wouldn't really like because I think this was my 3rd time watching it, and I was watching it for a certain ranking that I'm doing. In particular, it's a Martin Scorsese ranking that I'm working on. And I watched this for that. And I remember the very first time I watched it, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it, kind of. I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but I liked it. But then the second time I watched it, I actually wasn't too into it, unfortunately. Like, I didn't love it that much, and I thought it was boring. But after rewatching it for a 3rd time, I have to say it's not really that boring to me anymore. Just like Curious Case of Benjamin Button, it's slow, but it's not boring. I'm talking about Raging Bull. Yes, Raging Bull. I understand when people say that this is one of Scorsese's best films. Now, it's not my favorite Scorsese movie. I'll go ahead and say that. It's not my favorite. I personally prefer Taxi Driver, which is my favorite, currently my favorite Scorsese film. But I really like this movie a lot now. Like, I totally get it now. This is a masterpiece, and maybe my favorite boxing movie. If not that, then probably $1 Million Baby, which I talked about in my last What I Watched video. But yeah, I think it's really great, and of course Robert De Niro's performance as Jake LaMotta is amazing. Also, Joe Pesci as well as his brother was really good in this film. Yeah, just a really good boxing movie. And yeah, and an amazing Scorsese film. I said this on my Letterboxd when I reviewed it. I said, quite possibly Martin Scorsese's magnum opus, which means not the best Scorsese film, but the most important Scorsese film. I think that honestly goes to Raging Bull. Yeah, Raging Bull, really good film. I give that 4 stars. Not quite even 4.5. Not really quite in my favorites at the moment, but I really enjoyed this film. So yeah, Raging Bull gets 4 stars. Okay? Alright. What I watched in November 11th, that is. I don't know why I said what I watched in November. I meant to just say November 11th. I don't know why I said... Anyways. November 11th, I rewatched for the 2nd time because I got Disney Plus back. I rewatched The Straight Story, which I don't own, but The Straight Story, a David Lynch film, and those of y'all don't know, David Lynch is my favorite director of all time. And yes, I'm still working on the ranking. I still got to finish Twin Peaks, and then I got to watch Fire Walk with Me. But yeah, I since I got Disney Plus back, I figured I might as well watch The Straight Story again. And yeah, that was one of the first movies I reviewed as well whenever I first moved in here. Go check out that review if you haven't already. Not much has changed there. Actually, okay, a little bit has changed. I think I like this even better than the first time I watched it, which I did like it a lot the first time I watched it. This time I even like it better. I think The Straight Story is a masterpiece, and honestly, I'll go ahead and say this. It's one of my favorite David Lynch films. Of course, not my favorite. Of course, I still like Eraserhead and Blue Velvet. Or yeah, probably. I'm going to say Mulholland Drive, but I think I might like Blue Velvet better too. Maybe I don't know yet. We'll see once I get to the ranking, whenever that'll be. But I love The Straight Story. Yeah, just such a great film, and I recommend it to go check it out on Disney Plus. I mean, it's not a movie for everybody, but I still recommend it. It's a very good film, and it's very underrated. It's honestly Lynch's most underrated film. Yeah, Straight Story. I give that 4.5 stars. So, yeah. Okay, November 12th. I watched 2 movies again. I know this is kind of not really quite a double feature. I don't know. The second movie I just watched for some reason, just kind of out of random, but we'll get to that in a minute. But the first movie I watched for November 12th was a movie that I loved ever since I was a kid. It's a Pixar movie. The very first Pixar movie. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Toy Story. Yeah, Toy Story. I'm also currently working on a Pixar ranking pretty soon. I'm going to try to finish my Coen Brothers ranking. By the way, you're going to see a lot of Coen Brothers films on this list, but I'm currently trying to finish my Coen Brothers ranking, and once I get that done, I want to start my Tim Burton ranking, and maybe at that time I still might continue the Pixar ranking as well. But I started the Pixar ranking with, of course, Toy Story. I still need to watch A Bug's Life, but Toy Story, yeah, I still love Toy Story. I think it's not my favorite Pixar movie. That would be Monsters, Inc., but I love Toy Story. It's my second favorite Pixar movie. I think it's great. Just a great rivalry film. Woody and Buzz, they hate each other at first, but then they become friends at the end. And kind of spoilers if you don't know the movie, but still, just such a great film. And one of my favorite Pixar movies, and even one of my favorite animated films of all time. So yeah, Toy Story. I give that 4.5 stars. Yeah. All right, and the second movie I watched for November 12th was actually a YouTube movie. Yeah, this movie you can watch on YouTube, and it's for free too. It was actually done by a YouTuber. It's called Shrek Retold, and I rewatched it, by the way, because I did watch it before, but yeah, since this is actually on Letterboxd, so that's why I have it here. But yeah, Shrek Retold is actually a remake of the very first Shrek movie, but it's really cool how they do it. They use different styles of animation. It's like a whole bunch of other people, like 100 other people doing each scene, and it's really cool. Some of it's in animation, and some of the animation's really cool, and some of it's even live action, which the live action scenes are pretty funny. They're probably even funnier than the animated scenes, because there's some of it kind of has bad acting but I think they kind of just do that on purpose anyways. I don't really care how good it is, but still, it's pretty funny. The live action stuff and the animated stuff's kind of funny too, but it's a really cool remake to the original Shrek movie. It's also kind of ironic that I watched both of those in the same day, Toy Story and Shrek Retold, because even though it's not the first Shrek movie, but the first Toy Story and the first Shrek movie, both of them were actually some of the first movies I remember loving as a kid. It was Toy Story and Shrek, and so that's kind of ironic that I watched those. But I didn't watch the original Shrek. I watched Shrek Retold. But yeah, Shrek Retold is pretty good. It's funny, and some of the skits are kind of but it's not bad. It's cool, and actually, and they even have bands covering the songs in the movies that was in the movie. And my favorite was actually, I don't know who did it, but there was a really cool cover of I'm a Believer. And honestly, it's my favorite version of that song was the version that's in that film But yeah, Shrek Retold, I recommend it. Go watch it on YouTube. Just look up Shrek Retold, and it should pop up right away. I actually discovered it from a certain YouTuber that I subscribe to that I like. Give him a little shout out. His name is Shay Farillas. He was talking. Even did like a review of that, and yeah, it was. And I thought I'd check it out from his review, and yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, Shrek Retold. I give that 3.5 stars. Not like quite 4 stars, but still 3.5. And of course, I still like the original Shrek better, but still, Shrek Retold. It's really cool. So yeah, Shrek Retold. That's 4.5. No, 3.5 stars. Yeah. Okay, November 14th, I watched a movie that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. A few weeks ago. That is the new Dune movie from this year. For the first time, I watched that, and I'm not going to talk too much about it. Just go check out my review. But I'll just give a brief thought. Like I said in my review, it's okay. It's not great, at least to me, but it's not terrible either. It is better than the David Lynch version, so there's that. But and yes, I'm a David Lynch fan, but I did not like his version of Dune. I really didn't. But yeah, no, I thought it was decent, at least the new Dune movie. So I give that 2.5 stars. Yeah, I know that's low, but it's okay. 2.5 stars. Yeah. All right. November 16th, I watched 2 movies actually. First one I watched, I talked about this in my top 5 favorite movies of 2009. That is Youth in Revolt, starring Michael Cera. Yeah, really good movie. Pretty underrated. Well, at least I think it's good. I imagine there's some people that'll probably say, this movie sucks. But it's not for everybody. It's a required taste. If you like comedy, then you still might not like this movie, but I still recommend it if you like comedy. And it's a weird comedy, and it kind of reminds me of like Wes Anderson, but if Wes Anderson was more perverted, kind of. Like there's a lot of sexual jokes in this film, but I don't call it a sex comedy. I call it a romantic comedy, kind of like The Girl Next Door from 2004 as well. But it's really good. It has great performances, of course, by Michael Cera, Portia Doubleday, Zach Galifianakis, Justin Long, Ray Liotta's even in this movie, and Steve Buscemi plays Michael Cera's dad, which is perfect casting, I have to say. But I really like this movie. I watched it for the first time as a film buff, and yeah, I love it. Also, Fred Willard's in this movie. He's probably the weirdest character in it, but yeah, I recommend it though. Youth in Revolt. It's good. It's good. I like it. I gave that one 3.5 stars. Yeah. All right. And then the second movie I watched for the first time. It was a movie I also reviewed just a couple weeks ago. That is Sideways. Yeah. I love Sideways. I actually really love this movie now. I actually rewatched it after I reviewed it. It was actually before I released the review, but so my rating for the movie in that video, I think what did I give it? I gave it like, what did I give it? I think I give it 4 stars, I believe. It's not 4 stars anymore. I'll say what the rating is in a minute, but watching this for the second time, I loved it even more. This movie is just so good, and what makes it really good, like I said in my review, is the chemistry that Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church have. Amazing. They make a great team in this film, and I really wish that they've done more stuff. I don't know whether they did or not, but they were awesome together in this movie. And also Virginia Madsen was really good, and Sandra Oh was okay. She could have been better, but she's okay. But But yeah, Sideways, just a really good movie, really, and it's hilarious as well, and it was even nominated for Best Picture. And for some reason, though, Paul Giamatti wasn't nominated for Best Actor. What the fuck? Why? I don't know, but still amazing movie, and I love Paul Giamatti in it as well as Thomas Hayden Church and Virginia Madsen. Just so good. Yeah, Sideways. I'm giving Sideways 5 stars now. Yes, 5 stars. I love this movie now. One of my favorites of the 2000s. Unfortunately, I watched this after I'd done my top 20 favorite movies of the 2000s, but it's probably like in the top, I don't know, 5 now, maybe. If not, then top 10. But yeah, I love Sideways. So yeah, Sideways 5 stars. So good. All right. All right, number 19. Now, this starts the movies with the Coen Brothers movies. And there's only one movie I'm about to mention that's not a Coen Brothers movie. The rest of them are Coen Brothers movies. But, all right, so November 19th, I watched for the first time for my Coen Brothers ranking, I watched Intolerable Cruelty. And it was okay. It wasn't great. Honestly, it wasn't very good, but it did have some funny moments. I really liked Cedric the Entertainer. He was hilarious in that movie. And also, George Clooney was pretty good. And he was funny at times as well. I didn't really like Catherine Zeta-Jones very much, though. She kind of gave a bland performance, and most of the time she just smiled. And it was just, I don't know. It wasn't like a cute smile either, or charming smile, whatever. It was just kind of like an awkward kind of smile. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen anything else she's been in, but judging by that movie, she doesn't really seem like a great actress. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I didn't like her performance in that movie, at least. So yeah, Intolerable Cruelty. I give that 2 stars because at least it didn't make me laugh at times, but still, wasn't into it that much. I also watched that same day, I watched, of course, another Coen Brothers movie, a lot of people's favorite Coen Brothers movie, No Country for Old Men. And I think I've talked about this a little bit on my channel. I know I've mentioned it whenever I reviewed There Will Be Blood, because, There Will Be Blood lost to this film for Best Picture, of course, but... And I still stand by. I still think There Will Be Blood should have won instead of this. But with that being said, after rewatching this movie, I mean, I always thought it was a good movie and all. But with that being said, I like it a lot better now. I actually kind of get why people love this movie. Before, I didn't really understand that much. But no, this is a very well-made film. It might even be Coen Brothers' best film. I don't know. It's not my favorite, but I still enjoy it. This time I liked it even better than before. Now, I will say I'm still not a fan of the ending. I know. A lot of people are probably like, well, the ending is the whole point of the film. I mean, I guess the whole point of the story, sure, but they should have done it in a better way. I don't really like how they did the ending for this film. That's the only problem I have with it. Other than that, this is an amazing film. This is almost a masterpiece. It would have been a masterpiece if it wasn't for that ending. Yeah, unpopular opinion, I know, but still, other than that, I think this is a great film. And yeah, No Country for Old Men, I give that, I give that 4 stars. 4 stars, yeah. No Country for Old Men, yeah. Okay, the next day, November 20th, I watched another Coen Brothers movie. That was the follow-up to No Country for Old Men, Burn After Reading. I rewatched it. Did I say I rewatched No Country for Old Men? I don't know if I did or not, but I rewatched Burn After Reading for the second time, and I think I liked it better than I did the first time. But I'm still not head over heels for this film. But with that being said, I still own the Blu-ray. Because there is another Coen Brothers movie I'll get to in a minute that I actually also have on Blu-ray. But I really did not like it, so I'm not keeping it in my collection. This, on the other hand, I'm keeping it in my collection because I want to like this movie. I almost do. I almost like this movie. I love the humor in it. The humor. This is a really funny movie. Really funny. But I'm not into the story and some of the performances. Like, honestly, John Malkovich could have been better, and Tilda Swinton as well. But I love George Clooney in this movie. George Clooney is my favorite. He is hilarious in this movie, especially the scene with him and Brad Pitt. Which, if you've seen the movie, you know what scene I'm talking about. But I'm not, no spoilers, because if I say it will definitely spoil the film. But that scene is hilarious. And also his final scene in the movie was really funny as well, George Clooney. Yeah, he was hilarious. I liked Frances McDormand. She was really good in this movie and funny too at times. And Brad Pitt was kind of a mix. He made me laugh a few times, but he also kind of annoyed me. But the scene with him and George Clooney was great. But yeah, really good film. Okay, almost a good film. I almost love this movie because the humor is great. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not really into it that much. But I'm keeping the Blu-ray because I want to love this movie someday. So, Burn After Reading. This is a low one, but I'm giving that 2.5 stars. I almost love it though. So, Burn After Reading, yeah, 2.5. Okay, what's next? Okay. All right, now this is the last non-Coen Brothers movie. After this one, I got 3 more movies, and they're all Coen Brothers. This one isn't. This is the last video I even done. The last movie I reviewed, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. By the way, that's November 22nd. Yeah. I watched that for the first time, of course. And if you haven't seen that video, my review for it, go check it out. But yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's a good movie. It's a really good animated film, and like I said in my review, like the best animated film I've seen in a long time. So good, so good. I give it 3.5 stars. Yeah. All right. Like I said, last 3 films, all Coen Brothers. All right. Now this one, the Mitchells versus the Machines was November 22nd. This next one, I actually went out of town to my mom's for Thanksgiving, so I didn't get to watch another movie for a while. So this next one is on November 28th. So yeah, but on November 28th, I rewatched a movie that I reviewed for the channel a few months back. That is Inside Llewyn Davis. Yeah, I like this even better than I did whenever I reviewed it. This is a great film. This is one of my favorite Coen Brothers films. And it's hilarious, and it has some good drama moments as well. And it's weird because not much happens in the story, but it's still just the way it's done. It's just so good. And of course, I also had to mention Oscar Isaac's performance as Llewyn Davis. So good, so good. Even Carey Mulligan was really good, and John Goodman was hilarious. And even Justin Timberlake wasn't that bad. I also loved Adam Driver's short appearance in the film. He wasn't in it too much, but whenever he was in it, he was awesome, especially in the Please Mr. Kennedy scene. And I love that song, too. I love that song. But such a great film, Inside Llewyn Davis. I love this movie. And I give Inside Llewyn Davis 4.5 stars. Almost 5 stars. 4.5. Yeah. Okay. All right. November 29th, I watched Hell Caesar, which was the follow-up to Inside Llewyn Davis. And unfortunately, they didn't make a great film like the one before, like Inside Llewyn Davis. I do not like Hell Caesar. This is the one I was talking about that I actually have on Blu-ray, but I'm not even showing the Blu-ray because I'm not keeping it. But man, Hell Caesar is just such a waste of a great cast. Like, this movie has a great cast, but none of their performances stood out. That is sad, man. That is really sad. And George Clooney's even in this movie, and like, even in those movies I mentioned earlier, Burn After Reading and Intolerable Cruelty, which I'm not a fan of those films either, but he was great in both of them. This one, he wasn't. Even he wasn't. He wasn't that great. His character didn't stand out. No. The only one, I guess the best actor to give a good performance might have been Josh Brolin, but even he wasn't like anything too special. Like, he definitely wasn't as good as he was in No Country for Old Men. But yeah, I really don't like Hell Caesar. I think this is a boring movie and just not very interesting. I think it might have made me chuckle at times, but it didn't make me laugh, really. So, yeah, I really did not like Hell Caesar. So far. I'm still not done with the Coen Brothers ranking. There's still some other movies I need to watch. But so far, it's my least favorite Coen Brothers movie. I really don't like Hell Caesar. And I give that... I don't hate it, so I'm not going to give it like 1 star or even half a star, but I'm giving it 1.5 star. I did not like it. So yeah, Hell Caesar, yeah, wasn't a fan. Okay, and the last movie I watched, which I actually watched last night. I'm recording this on December 1st, and this should be out on December 2nd, I think. I'm pretty sure it should be December 2nd. So, but I'm recording this one day before I release it. But I watched this last night, which was November 30th. That is the very last Coen Brothers film, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. And I watched it for the first time, actually, kind of, because I actually did watch like the first 2 stories. I remember, whenever it first came out. Actually, I watched like it's an anthology film, and I watched the first 2 stories, and I thought they were hilarious. I watched them with my uncle whenever I was over at their house one time, and yeah, I thought it was hilarious. And I watched it again this time all the way through last night, and yeah, this is actually a good movie. And the follow up to Hell Caesar, which I did not like at all, this definitely improved. Now, it's not as good as the one before, Inside Llewyn Davis, but I did enjoy Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I thought it was a very good film, and it's a really cool anthology film. The first two stories I still liked. I thought they were really funny. And I also liked the story with, I think, which is my favorite. I like the story with what was it? What's his name? Tom Waits. Tom Waits as the prospector. That one was my favorite. I really liked that story. And the other 2 were pretty good as well. But the last story I wasn't into. That was the only one I did not like, and it dragged it down for me. The movie. That's why this movie doesn't have like a really big rating, but it's a fair rating. I'll say what it is in a minute, but that's the only reason why it kind of pulls it back a little bit for me, like really liking this movie. But I for the most part, I thought this was good. I thought this, other than that last story, if they cut that story out, if it was just 5 stories instead of 6, then it would have been a really good movie. It's just a pretty good movie, pretty good movie. That last story dragged it down, but other than that, it is a really good movie, and yeah, I thought it was actually a pretty good movie to end their journey. Now, of course, Joe Cohen he even released a new movie out this year, but I won't be including that whenever I do my Coen Brothers ranking because Ethan Coen has nothing to do with it. So I'm only, doing the ones they did together. So yeah, was it called the tragedy of Macbeth or something? Something like that. I haven't seen it yet. I have it on my list, but I haven't watched it yet. I don't even think it's streaming any on any service I own. So who knows when I'll watch it? But I won't be watching it for the review or the ranking. So yeah. But Ballad Buster Scruggs, anyways, I give that 3.5 stars. So yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. There's my what I watched in November. I'm about to say October. What I watched in November 2021 list. So in the comments, tell me what was your favorite from this list. What was your favorite? Okay, you know what? I forgot to mention. I have to rank. I have a ranking of these films. Let me go ahead and rank them. Okay, let me do a quick ranking, then I'll get back to that. Okay, number 17 was Hail Caesar. Number 16, Intolerable Cruelty. Number 15 was Dune. Sorry, people, but yeah. Number 14 was Burn After Reading. Number 13, The Disaster Artist. Number 12, Shrek Retold. 11, Ballad of Buster Scruggs. 10, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. 9, Youth in Revolt. 8, No Country for Old Men. 7, Raging Bull. 6, Curious Case of Benjamin Button. 5, Inside Llewyn Davis. 4, The Straight Story. 3, Toy Story. 2, The Room. Yeah. And number 1 is actually Sideways. I even liked it better than The Room, which of course everybody will say that it's a better movie, obviously. But yeah. Anyways, okay, now let me get back. So in the comments, if you give me your what was your favorite movie of all of the ones I mentioned? What's your favorite? Also give me a movie that you liked that you watched this year. If there's any or from that month of November. If there's any movie you liked that from that month that you watched, let me know. Also, one more thing. Like I said, I'm almost done with the Coen Brothers movies. I still got a little bit left. I have just give me a second. I got these two, Miller's Crossing and True Grit. I bought these at Vintage Stock, and I'm actually looking to watching Miller's Crossing tonight as I record this. And I might do a review for it. We'll see. But I got these two. I also ordered A Serious Man from Amazon. From Amazon. And also, I should be also getting the rest that I haven't seen, which are Hudsucker Proxy, Barton Fink, The Man Who Wasn't There, and The Lady Killers. Those should be coming in sometime. I need to order those. I should be getting A Serious Man soon, but those others. I still got, 7 Coen Brothers movies to watch. But as soon as I watch them all, the ranking will be coming. So look out for the Coen Brothers ranking. It probably won't be the next. I imagine it won't be the next non-review video, but hopefully the one after that. So yeah, Coen Brothers ranking will be coming soon. I promise. Anyways, so please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell. And I'll see you next time for a review. Hopefully for Miller's Crossing. We'll see. Okay. Peace.